This is MSLB, Mark Sterling's Boxing, and I'm here with my main man Jaden, aka Miles Morales. How you doing? You alright?
I'm good, thank you.
Okay, we're going to talk about the big fight this weekend in the heavyweight division. Anthony Joshua versus Andrew Ruiz. Andrew Ruiz, the champion, the first Mexican ever heavyweight champion who holds the IBF, WBA, WBO, any other belts?
Do you say WBA?
WBA, yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
Not WBU?
Not WB. no.
Oh, IBX?
NFPA, whatever it is. No, not those belts.
But basically, he's a unified heavyweight champion. He hasn't got the WBC belt, which belongs to Deontay Wilder. Another fighting this Saturday in Saudi Arabia. Massive fight in the heavyweight division. And once this fight's out the way, we kind of understand who are the top three heavyweights. So let's talk about the fight. Let's talk about how we see this fight going. But before we go into that, let's talk about the mindset of each fighter. Where do you think each fighter's are at mentally? Let's start with the champion Ruiz.
I think Ruiz is the same place where he was before, really. He's still the underdog, even though he won the first one. Mm-hmm. I just don't think there's a lot of pressure on him. Because he's just there. He's just there. Whereas in AJ, I think with AJ, there's a lot of pressure on AJ. Because one, he was meant to win the first one and win in flying colours. And then now he's lost this one. So now coming back into it, there's even more pressure because he has to win, and not just win. He has to win decisively as well. Really. Otherwise,
did you watch the gloves are off?
I haven't watched the gloves are off yet.
Okay.
To be honest, but I've seen clips of it, and AJ there's moments where AJ looked uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Where Ruiz was just sat there being himself.
Yeah.
So I just think
Ruiz looked very, very relaxed.
Yeah, of course. I think he was just. I just don't think Ruiz really. He doesn't strike me as a guy that cares about much. Because he has just been a quote unquote overnight sensation. Obviously, we know that he has actually been on the circuit for a while, but because he's kind of come out of nowhere, he hasn't really got much to lose. So I think that's the mindset he's going into it. He's just going into the fight thinking, well, whatever happens is going to happen, but I'm just going to give my best. And if I lose, I was meant to lose, and there's going to be even more opportunities for me because people know who I am now.
He's definitely consistent, because if you look at how he was before the first fight, he was very much like, hey, I'm Andrew Ruiz.
Yeah.
I just love boxing.
Yeah.
And after the fight, I was like, hey, I'm Andrew Ruiz.
Yeah.
I just love boxing. And
even going into this fight, he's been
he's the same, just very laid back, relaxed. You could kind of say, like, no disrespect, but kind of shallow.
Yeah, probably. Yeah,
I mean, maybe the real person.
Maybe not shallow, but maybe just maybe like a bit hollow. But I don't think he cares about a lot. Do you know? I think he's just kind of living life day to day.
We're just doing a video. You're live on YouTube. Have you got 3 minutes?
Yeah.
I see a bit. Yeah. So.
Yeah. I just don't think he cares about a lot. Like he seems like a very carefree guy. Just gets on with his life. Likes to train. Likes to eat. And then that's that. Really, then he's a happy guy. Do you know what I mean?
Anthony Joshua. So I'll just give my 2 pence first.
Yeah.
There's a lot of talk in the boxing media, on the YouTube channels, different boxers and whatnot. They're saying that they think he's under a lot of pressure, which I think he is. But also saying that things that he's saying is indicating that he's maybe nervous or angry, whatever. Now, I've seen the gloves are off, and I've seen some of his interviews. So going into this fight, I was kind of picking Andrew Ruiz to win the fight. Right. And I kind of thought, it's a tight fight. I can see how both guys can win. I'm not too sure. I'm just going to go to Ruiz based on the first fight because he dominated for a longer period.
Right.
But my mind's changed a little bit, and I'm kind of still think it's tight. But I'm kind of thinking more AJ. And the reason I'm thinking is that, listen to his interviews, all of his interviews. He's the same guy as before. He's always very, very thoughtful. He always gives this very thoughtful answer. And I think in my head that someone like AJ, to lose this fight, he wouldn't just take the rematch just for the sake of it. He's giving it good thought. He's done a lot of research on other fighters who are tall like himself, whatever, to figure out how to win. And I think deep down he knows he can win. And I think that the reaction that he's giving in a lot of his interviews, it's not that I don't think he's nervous. I think he's pissed. I think he's pissed that he's thinking, I let that guy beat me? You beat me? Nah. I'm gonna deal with you. And what I think as well, if you go to the gloves are off with Joseph Parker, right? The Parker fight. In that gloves are off, AJ said, I'm gonna knock out Parker. It's gonna be a knockout. Yeah? And I think in this gloves are off with Ruiz, he said once again, I'm gonna knock out Parker. That's what he said.
But Parker or Ruiz?
No, sorry, Ruiz. He said knock out Ruiz. And I think that's a misdirect. And I think he's saying that to Ruiz to make sure I'm going to come gun-ho and be very aggressive. But when I fight, I'm going to fight like I fought Parker, on my toes, behind the jab and not get caught. And I think he understands he has to fight smart. You You can't try and be like Mike Tyson and crouch down and get low
with the shorter fighter
against Ruiz, who's naturally fast, a relaxed guy, been boxing all his life. So I'm just tipping AJ just to literally outpoint him, stay out of trouble. He may get clipped, he may have to get off the floor, but I think mentally he'll be in a better place this time. I don't think he was in a good place last time. I'm not making an excuse for him, but I just have this. He lost the fight. I had the feeling like something was up in that first fight. So even in the ring where he just didn't look himself. He looked very heavy. His back looked massive and big. He looked stiff. He was getting his neck massage going into the fight. Something went right. So that I'm just slightly tilting towards AJ, but not massively. That's where I'm at.
I think there was a lot of from what I remember the first fight, there was a lot of speculation going up into the first fight because there was rumours he got knocked out in sparring. He had that be sparring on the week of the fight, that he had a concussion going into the fight. But at the end of the day, Ruiz didn't get knocked out in sparring, or even if he did, he was still able to put that pressure on AJ. And I think with what you're saying about,
he did fantastic in the first fight. 1000%. And I think what you're saying about AJ looking into Ruiz and all, like taking the immediate rematch, I think he was in between a rock and a hard place, because if he didn't take the immediate rematch, a lot of the American fans are turning on AJ. Anyway, they didn't like him before, but now AJ's a hype job. He was a fraud. He was a fraud all along. You can never fight. So if he didn't take Ruiz anyway, that would have looked bad. And then because he has taken Ruiz again straight away, it's kind of like you don't have anyone lower to kind of fight like he was kind of like Ruiz to kind of put yourself in that predicament. But I think the problem with AJ is that he kind of got rushed along a little bit too quickly. Like when did he fight Klitschko? Like I think it's like 19 fights. Yeah, 19 or 17
19 fights.
Yeah.
So he didn't even have like 20 fights.
Yeah.
So if you look at his peers, Deontay Wilder had about 40 fights before he stepped up. Fury had about maybe, I don't know,
27?
like 20. It was 20 odd fights before he kind of stepped up and everything. So I think because he's never really obviously Klitschko dropped him, and he came back and he beat Klitschko, but Klitschko wasn't a swarmer. Like Klitschko likes to finish you with one punch. Like finds that punch, bang, you're gone. But he's not gonna.
He's a nervous fighter. And he might have been slightly gassed himself.
Exactly. Whereas someone like Ruiz, if he hurts you, he's gonna because he's got such fast hands anyway. He's gonna be onto you, bam, 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 bam. And because if you watch the first fight as well, it wasn't like it was just one punch. It was an accumulation of punches and
Ruiz been fighting since he was 6 years old.
Exactly, and AJ's been fighting since he's 18.
18.
So I think if AJ had more of that experience where he was under the pressure of people throwing a lot of shots at him and everything, like we seen him come back, but it's not like that. And I think his recovery is just terrible as well.
Yeah.
Like especially like we seen it with in the Vlad fight.
That's definitely one of his flaws.
Took him like about 4 rounds to recover.
Where he got dropped in the 6th round, didn't get back in the fight till maybe at the end of the 10th round.
There we go. So I think that's something. Maybe that's why he's lost a bit of muscle. So hopefully he can regain his senses. Be more flexible, and
just be about that boxing. That's what I kind of picked up about him in his interviews. Is that he's saying, forget all this science, all this technology. Let's just get to boxing.
Skill.
I'm not saying that's going to win the fight, but that should help him a lot.
It should,
and that's a good. That shows he's thinking the right things. Whether his training McCracken is good enough to give him the technical intricacies in between the rounds, that's a whole other story. But it shouldn't be that hard. I mean, you keep behind the jab, use your feet.
But then again, Joshua's always had problems with shorter fighters. He had problems with Takam. Like he wasn't losing against Takam, but he had issues with him. He had problems with Povetkin. He lost like the first 3 rounds quite clearly. That left hook clip kept clipping him, broke his nose.
And what if Ruiz is better? What if he's more confident now? More relaxed?
There we go. So
not a lot, a little bit lighter.
Yeah. Ruiz looks about the same. Ruiz looks about the same height, same size to me though. To be honest, so I don't know. AJ looks a lot lighter as well. I think like you were saying. I think he's actually put into actually having like a boxer's body rather than being a bodybuilder. And I think he looks like he should be able to do a few more rounds definitely. So.
All right, let's close up predictions.
I'm gonna go with Andy Ruiz.
How you see it going?
I see AJ trying to feel it out, and then I think he might even start off exactly the same way. He clips Andy, and then he hurts him. If AJ can take that step back and just look for another shot again rather than swarm in, then he might stop him. But I think he's gonna get into a tear up again. Ruiz is gonna clip him again, and I think Ruiz will work the body a bit more as well. Like that was something he didn't do enough in the first fight. But when he was hitting AJ to the body
in the 6th round,
straight shots, right hands. AJ was feeling it. And he actually got on his bike for the fact he was trying to fight with his hands down, and like he was trying to do in the Povetkin fight. And Ruiz was just picking him apart. So I just think Ruiz knows all he has to do is make it a fight. If as soon as Ruiz makes it a fight, I think AJ is gonna start having flashbacks from the first fight.
Yeah.
So
can you get over that?
Can he? Let's wait and see really. So I'm gonna go with Ruiz.
I'm gonna go with AJ.
Right.
I like how you broke it down, and I can see the fight going that way.
Yeah.
I could also see this happening. A similar fight to the Parker fight. Light on his feet, behind the jab, being negative, basically being boring, sneaking the fight out. And there's a possibility that whilst doing that, he might have some lackadaisical moments. Yeah, some blips. Yeah. Ruiz might catch him and he might have to go to the floor.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm gonna go for. I'm gonna go for behind the jab, on his toes, keeping it simple. But I can see both sides panning out.
Yeah, I think a lot of people make it out like AJ's not got any chance, like he's rubbish now, and I think that's nonsense. I think AJ did have Ruiz hurt in the first fight, and I think if he'd have just taken his time and actually like I said, took that step back, looked for the shot, then he probably could have won.
And made Ruiz make more mistakes.
There we go. But he just swarmed in, and then once he got clipped in the temple, that was what she wrote really.
If AJ does lose, I give him his credit for someone who started boxing at 18.
He did a lot.
He's done very well.
He did very, very well.
To win the Olympic gold medal, you know what I mean?
And go on to be like the unified heavyweight champion of the world and everything. But and I think if he does lose and then he continues on and then he wins back. I think he can win. I think he can come again. It's just Willie, because to lose twice to someone that you weren't meant to, especially when you're at the top of the hill, when you're at the top of the sport, it must be mentally quite draining on you. But I think after this fight, either way, we're going to see AJ fight someone lower than Ruiz. I think we'll probably see him maybe fight someone like a Derek Chisora or someone like that. Yeah. So someone along those lines, because I think he's been fighting a lot of tough competition. But yeah, man.
Okay, my friend. Well, if you're free, we'll talk after the fight.
Definitely, man. Definitely.
Okay? Yeah. This is MSLB. Mark Stoneman's Boxing. Bless. Bye bye.